Saturday, March 16th, Daryl Blatchley, a marine mammals expert, received a phone call about an emaciated-looking whale that was vomiting blood on the Davao Gulf of the Philippines. This whale was a Cuvier beaked whale. They are a protected species and they can dive deeper and swim longer underwater than any other marine mammal. Now, these mammals are unique, but what was most unique about this specific whale was its cause of death. This whale died from 88 pounds of plastic being packed into its stomach. So today I want to talk a little bit about plastic pollution and this specific whale's story and organizations like the Ocean Conservancy that exist to protect the ocean and eliminate plastics within it. So Daryl Blatchley wound up bringing this dead whale back to a laboratory to perform an autopsy on it. Now, as he performed this autopsy, he began pulling things out of the whale's stomach like plastic bags, nylon ropes, and even rice sacks. And these, as you can see in this photo, this is Daryl Blatchley pulling a huge piece of plastic out of this whale's stomach. Now, this whale was a young male. It was 15 feet in length and weighed about 1,100 pounds. With 88 pounds of plastic in its stomach, that means that 8% of this whale's total weight was plastic. So, after performing the autopsy, Daryl Blatchley and his team came to the conclusion that the whale died from starvation and dehydration. According to National Geographic, whales absorb water from the food that they eat. So because this whale had such a huge mass of plastic in its stomach, it was unable to digest any food and also unable to absorb any water. And if that weren't enough, the whale's stomach acid was trying to break down these plastics, but being unable to, unfortunately started breaking down the whale's stomach lining, and that is what resulted in it vomiting blood. So unfortunately, this whale experienced a very horrible death. So as much as I would like to tell you that this is a once-in-a-lifetime occurrence and that this doesn't happen very often, unfortunately that's not the case. According to the United Nations, 100,000 marine mammals die each year from plastic pollution. And as a whole world, we produce 381 million tons of plastic waste each year. That's just 1 year. And of that waste, 50% of it is single-use plastics, like forks, straws, and cutlery, plastic bags, things of that matter. And of the 381 million tons, 8 to 14 of those tons wind up in the ocean, and that's every year. So keep in mind, that's just what happens in 1 year. So I know these statistics are hard to capture in your head. So the picture that you see on the screen is of a small piece of what is known as the Great Pacific Garbage Patch. The Great Pacific Garbage Patch is exactly what it sounds like. It is a huge garbage patch that exists in the Pacific Ocean, and it is larger than the state of Texas. It is as densely packed in as what you see in this photo for its entire circumference. It is bigger than the state of Texas, and it is all styrofoam, plastic, fishing nets, ropes, things like that. So as easy as it may be to disassociate ourselves from this plastic pollution because it seems to affect animals more than it affects us, the ocean is so vital for us. The ocean produces 50 to 80% of the oxygen that we breathe every day. It also is the reason that we are able to eat fish. The world eats 154 million tons of fish every year, and that all comes from the ocean. And the alarming thing about that is if the fish are eating plastic and we're eating the fish, we're eating the plastic too. And the ocean is obviously a form of transportation for us and also a form of recreation. So if we didn't have the ocean, just imagine what the world would be like. So it's really important that organizations like the Ocean Conservancy exist to protect our ocean. Now, the Ocean Conservancy's main mission is to protect our oceans. They want to provide a healthier ocean for all of the wildlife and all of the communities that depend on it. And they do this solely through science-based solutions. So one of the Ocean Conservancy's programs is Trash-Free Seas. And it's essentially what it sounds like. It's just them trying to rid the ocean of trash. and they do this in several different ways. So one way they do it is by organizing an annual international coastal cleanup. This takes place every year in the fall time, and they have over 12 million volunteers to help clean trash from the coastlines of the world. And they've been doing this for the past 30 years, and they've already taken 344 million pounds of trash out of the ocean. So that's a very reactive solution. The trash is in the ocean and they're trying to clean it out of the ocean, but there are also proactive solutions that the Ocean Conservancy implements. And one of those is the Trash Free Seas Alliance. And this is an alliance that they have with big corporate companies like Starbucks, Procter & Gamble, Coca-Cola, Pepsi, all of those. And what they do with this alliance is they bring together all of these masterminds and they try and come up with sustainable solutions. They try and use things like plant-based plastics or recycled materials and just reduce waste at the source. If they can reduce the plastic that's being produced, then ultimately there's going to be less plastic in the ocean. The Ocean Conservancy also does things like educate the public, because the more people that know about this, the more people want to protect the ocean. And they, most of all, do a lot of advocacy for policy change. They have been a part of a lot of things like plastic bag bans that you see and straw bans in states like Hawaii. So they've been very influential in ridding the ocean of plastic. And one of the things that I love about the Ocean Conservancy is that they don't just focus on plastics. They are tackling change in so many different ways for the ocean. So they're doing things like confronting climate change. They're addressing the acidity levels in the ocean. They are aiming for sustainable fisheries and protecting the ocean against oil spills like what happened in the Gulf of Mexico. So they're not just doing one thing. They're not just an organization focused on correcting one thing at a time. They have teams of thousands of people working to address all of these issues simultaneously so that we can have a clean ocean. So obviously I would love it if you would look into the Ocean Conservancy and just find out more about plastic pollution and volunteer if you feel the need to, because you need the ocean and the ocean needs you. Thank you.